Guys, let's talk about West Ham versus Southampton. Out of all the games that were played in the English Premier League, I know a lot of Ghanaians are going to watch this game because of the Ghanaian interest in there. Mohammed Kudus, who plays for West Ham, and also Kamaldeen Sulemana, who plays for Southampton, and both players started for their club side. And I'm going to tell you all the things that happened in that game. But before we jump into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. My name is Adam. You are watching SportsCornerGH. Quickly, let's jump into it. Mohammed Kudus versus Kamaldeen Sulemana. I'm not going to lie, it's a dream come true for both players, and for me watching, or for any Ghanaian watching this game, it was excitement because both players have similar style of play. They know how to dribble, they have pace, they know how to take on their marker. In 1v1 situation, these players are the players you can count on. So for me, I just wanted to see the excitement these two players are going to bring in the game. While I was watching, I noticed one thing. It was as if it was Kamaldeen 11 versus Kudus 11. That's what the whole game was about for me. And guys, we are about to jump into it. Now, let's talk about Southampton before this game. Southampton are already relegated out of the English Premier League, and it is very sad. But then they did not play like a team that have already been relegated. They played really, really well. And in the first half, they were pretty good, even more than West Ham. Now, West Ham themselves, this season, have not really performed very well. They have a very bad season. Even with the introduction of Graham Potter, it hasn't gone the way they would have wanted. And it reflected in the game they played against Southampton, because you are playing against a team that has already been relegated and was still not good. In the first half, it was so bad to the extent that I felt like Southampton should have walked away with at least a goal in the first half. Kamaldeen Sulemana was able to hit the crossbar. It was rather unfortunate. He should have scored, because today, this is one of the best games I've seen Kamaldeen Sulemana play. Aside the game he played against Manchester United, this is another game that he really showed himself to the rest of the world that he is that guy. Even though Southampton are getting relegated, he is that guy. The talent is still there. Today he played extremely well, and today it was as if it was a battle between him and Kudus. As if, look, when Kamaldeen Sulemana gets the ball, he wants to do something. When Kudus also gets the ball, he also wants to do something. But in the first half, I'll give it to Kamaldeen Sulemana. I'm not going to lie, he played extremely well. The dribbling, the passes, the chances created, the decision making, even though it wasn't too accurate, but then at least it was better than what we used to see. And I love the way he played today. For Mohammed Kudus, in the starting of the game, he was playing at the right wing, so most of the times he was clashing heads with Kamaldeen Sulemana. But as the game went on, the coach decided to send Mohammed Kudus to the left wing. So most times of the game, they were actually not meeting unless they drifted more to the middle. That's Kamaldeen Sulemana and Mohammed Kudus. But then Mohammed Kudus moving to the left wing actually helped the matters, because Jarrod Bowen would have to come to the right wing, and it helped the West Ham get a goal in the second half. Now, after that goal, it was pretty much Southampton dictating everything. Now, both teams evenly played very well. They had evenly, passion when it comes to even portion when it comes to ball possession. They played very well. Southampton had their chances, West Ham had their chances. I felt like this game, both teams were not clinical enough. And for West Ham, they were wasting too much time on the ball, because whenever you want to transition ball from defense to attack, you need the ball to move quicker. It wasn't moving too quick for me. And I felt the only player helping the case for West Ham was Lucas Paqueta. Aside that, most of the players were delaying too much on the ball. But today, Mohammed Kudus, one thing I noticed that I want to talk about, which is quite important. I love Mohammed Kudus, that's the truth, but then the truth needs to be said. I feel like he had so many chances in that game where he could have buried the game, probably scored a goal, given an assist. But you could see him, holding back a bit, wasting a bit of time, like about 10-15 seconds, and then you see the defenders rushing on him. I feel like it has to do with some confidence issue, or his decision making is becoming too much. Sometimes for footballers, you need to be very quick when it comes to your decision making. You don't have to decide for too long. For Mohammed Kudus in that game, I felt like anytime they had that counter attack, it was through him. And anytime he was with the ball, this is not with Mohammed Kudus of last season. See, he had a ball, and the commentators said this, that Kudus of last season would have dribbled his way to the opposition half and probably hit the target or score. And they were not wrong because Kudus had the ball and he was going, and I felt like he shouldn't have passed the ball, but he did. I felt like he should have actually shot the ball and tried his luck from that particular angle. But then, guys, Mohammed Kudus, Kamaldeen, Sulemana, they did extremely well. And I know both players, after the game, they will be talking about how they performed in that game, because it's like two friends playing against each other. And as I said, it's a dream come true for both players, because if you listen to interviews from both players, they have already said that it's their dream to play in the English Premier League, and also it's their dream to play against each other for their various clubs. And I mean, it was beautiful watching both players. Now let's talk about their performance in numbers very quickly. I want to begin with Mohammed Kudus, who played 75 minutes in that game. He was rated 7.3 by SofaScore. If you take a look at his other statistics, he had total touch of 43, accurate passes completed 27 out of 30, accumulating to 90%. One key pass. If you take a look at shot off target 1, block shot 1, let's take a look at other statistics. Ground duels 1 was 4 out of 5, dribble attempted successful 2 out of 2, which I think is not accurate. Mohammed Kudus had some pretty good dribbles in that game, but then we are going to give it to SofaScore for at least trying their best when it comes to this. But then, guys, Mohammed Kudus was rated 7.3 by SofaScore. Now let's take a look at Kamaldeen Sulemana in that game. He played 74 minutes, so pretty much both players played the same amount of time in the game. He had 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, 1 block shot, dribble attempted successful 1 out of 4. Once again, for Kamaldeen Sulemana, it is not accurate. If you watch the game, he had several successful dribbles in the game. He hit the woodwork, as I said earlier in today's video. He had a total touch of 34, accurate passes completed 14 out of 17, accumulating to 82%. Crosses successful 1 out of 2, long ball successful 1 out of 2, and he was rated 6.7 by SofaScore. So guys, let me know what you think about both players playing for their club side. They did not perform bad at all, in my own opinion. It was exciting to see both players play for their various clubs. Even getting to the close of their time in the game, that's around the 70th minute, both players were clashing with each other, because when Mohammed Kudus had the ball, Kamaldeen Sulemana was tracking back. It was as if he needed that extra energy, that extra leg, to make sure he takes the ball off the feet of Mohammed Kudus. And as I said, these two players would go back after the game and laugh over this game, and Kamaldeen can tell Mohammed Kudus like, hey, I played better than you. Kudus also tell Kamaldeen Sulemana, I also played better than you, because getting to the close of that game, I mean, these two players really gave us a show. I loved every single thing they did in that game, and I'm happy for both players. But then the question lies that at the end of the season, what is the future for these two players? For Mohammed Kudus, he's gaining interest from a lot of clubs. I don't want to even list them. A lot of clubs. Tottenham, PSG, Manchester United, Chelsea, Saudi Arabian club, Al-Nassr, the list goes on. Now we know he's been represented by Roof Agency, and the agency represents a lot of big name players, and I'm happy for Mohammed Kudus, but then the decision lies in the hands of the player. Where he decides to play football next season, it's in the hands of the player. The player has to decide. But then currently he has a release clause of 85 million euros. That only applies to European clubs. But then for clubs outside Europe, it is 120 million. So guys, that is it with Mohammed Kudus concerning his future. For Kamaldeen Sulemana, Southampton are relegated out of the English Premier League, so they are going back to the Championship. It is between him staying with Southampton playing the Championship, or moving to another club. Now, before the season began, we had clubs who were interested in taking Kamaldeen Sulemana on loan. Stade Rennais, Ajax, they were all interested in taking the player on loan. But then the move did not go through, especially getting to the close of the transfer window, the deadline day. So guys, we just hope that these two players at the end of the season make the right decision for their footballing careers, because they are talented players, and today they showed it for the rest of the world to see. Kamaldeen Sulemana, Mohammed Kudus, both players played extremely well. So guys, this is where I'm going to end it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. My name is Adam. I'll make sure to see you in the next one. Charlie, we go vibe.